Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, mahaba, ciao, bonjour, namaste, jumbo, bienvenidos. Hey, my friends, my name is Jedley, and you're listening to Reading with Your Kids, coming to you from the vibrant and book-loving neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. This is more than just a podcast. It's a movement. Our mission is to help families grow stronger, closer, and kinder through the magic of reading together. And we're thrilled that you are joining us in our journey. Every episode, we sit down with fascinating people who are creating books that open hearts and spark imaginations. Help us spread the joy by sharing this podcast with the people you love. Tell your kids, teachers, school librarians, and neighbors that they can find us on the WREB AM/FM 24/7 radio network. And they can also find us on the iHeartRadio app, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Good Pods. Wherever you find your favorite show, you can find Reading with Your Kids. We have two really fantastic guests for you today. First, coming to us from the world of fashion and fun, Kat Maconi is here to celebrate her new picture book, What Kind of Shoes Does a Hippopotamus Choose? And later in the show, Michelle Olson will be here to let us know why Emily was so embarrassed. That's the name of her new picture book. Before we invite our guests into the studio, I would love to invite you to visit a very special website. It's clownswithoutborders.org. Clownswithoutborders.org. This is a group that I absolutely adore. I am part of Clowns Without Borders, and I had the honor of being part of the 2023 tour of El Salvador. I had so much fun joining with artists from all over the world to bring a smile to people who really needed it and really appreciated it too. And we would love for you to join us as a monthly Joy Maker. The Joy Makers, they're a family of people just like you who love to laugh and make other people feel good. So please take a moment and visit clownswithoutborders.org and consider joining me as a Joy Maker.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
855-325-1823. 855-325-1823. That's 855-325-1823.
My friends, if you have ever thought about owning a business that's fun, rewarding, and makes a valuable contribution to kids' education, well, Brooklyn Robot Foundry is calling your name. I recently met Jenny Young. She's the founder of Brooklyn Robot Foundry. And let me tell you, she is incredible. Her passion for getting kids excited about STEAM, that's STEM plus art, it's contagious. I'm telling you. This isn't your average kids program. Brooklyn Robot Foundry is all about hands-on, screen-free STEAM fun. These kids get to build a different robot each class and take it home with them afterwards. Kids love it. Parents are raving about it. And now you can own a franchise and bring this incredible experience to families in your community. Now, this isn't your typical franchise. Brooklyn Robot Foundry is a mobile, flexible business with a deep curriculum that's making a real impact in schools and communities around the country. Franchise owners get a proven curriculum, full training, and support from a passionate team. So what are you waiting for? Please visit bit.ly/robotjed. That's bit.ly/robotjed. And let them know you heard about it on Reading with Your Kids. Join us right now from London in the United Kingdom. Our guest is here today to celebrate her debut children's picture book. It's called What Kind of Shoes Does a Hippopotamus Choose? Please welcome to the show, Kat Maconi. Hey, Kat, how are you?
Great. I'm thrilled to be on your show.
I'm delighted to have you on. Boy, Kat is, you can't see this, ladies and gentlemen, but Kat is just beaming. She has this really bright smile, and it is obvious that she is excited to celebrate What Kind of Shoes Does a Hippopotamus Choose?
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's my first book and very much inspired by my daughter and my shoe brand.
Awesome. Well, how old is your daughter?
She's 5.
5 years old. Wow.
And besotted with picture books like I was as a child.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so I don't have to ask you, it's obvious that you spend lots of time reading with your daughter.
We do, yeah, I do, yes, definitely. And I remember it being a really, really important part of my childhood as well. Picture books were, I think I continued looking at picture books until, I don't know, at least when I'm much longer than I should have. I remember going to the dentist and absolutely I loved going to the dentist because it meant that I got to look at all the picture books. They had the most amazing collection. So I must have been the only child that enjoyed that.
I love it. Well, we should tell everybody what the book is all about.
Sure. Okay, well, What Kind of Shoes does a Hippopotamus Choose is all about fabulous hippo and all her lovely friends who wear all sorts of different types of shoes. So it's illustrated by Sebastian Bourne, who's the most incredible illustrator, and he's I don't know how. I mean, he was literally. I'm so blessed to have ended up working with him because he is a true talent, and just imagined. I couldn't have imagined a better interpretation of basically it's a poem, it's a rhyming poem, but he's created some sort of absolutely incredible characters throughout the book.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to ask you. You are also the founder and driving force behind, is it Hippo Parade?
Well, I've actually got 2 brands. So I'm the founder of Kat Maconi, which is an international shoe brand that very much inspired the storyline, considering it's all about shoes.
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, it's an international shoe brand. We sell in all sorts of department stores and multi-brand boutiques all over the world, and we have retail stores. And Taylor Swift's a big fan. So yeah, we have. But it's the brand is very colourful and fun and playful, and I really wanted to bring that world that I design and create into my daughter's life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, God, it would be amazing to put a beautiful picture book together, inspired by sort of really the DNA of my brand and the colour and the energy and the fun and the lack of seriousness, because I think that's super key for kids now. Like, life has got so serious. I mean, my 5-year-old just told me that they're not doing arts and crafts in when they go into the next year, and I'm like, oh no, that's so sad. Like, I think creativity for kids is just so key, and And the way that it's amazing. My daughter can pick up the way she writes and the way she reads is so instinctively natural and creative. And I think it's really important to encourage that for as long as possible.
Well, I absolutely agree with you. One of the things that we've talked about here on Reading with Your Kids, we've had a number of kindergarten and elementary school teachers on the show, and they've said, at least here in the States, I don't know what it's like in the UK, but there is this pressure to get kids doing the serious work of school at a younger and younger age. Kindergarten is no longer a place where kids can play and learn all those social and emotional skills of how to share and get along and work out problems. Now they're right in there at their desk studying, reading, writing, and it's important, but you got to also learn how to play.
I know. I mean, if I had my way, I think kids should be able to just enjoy creativity and fun until they're at least 8. Lucky I'm not running the syllabus in the UK. Hey? Everyone would have lots of paints and lots of picture books, and that's about it.
Well, I wanted to get back. You were mentioning how lucky you were to have your illustrator, and I'm wondering, for somebody that is such a dynamic force of almost a force of nature in your business world, and I'm sure you have your hands in all aspects of your business, was it easy for you or hard for you to kind of let go and let your illustrator tell his part of the story?
Well, I mean, I think Margaret Analysis from Flamingo Penguin, she suggested quite a few illustrators, and eventually she suggested Sebastian, and I was literally, as soon as I saw his work, I was completely blown away by it. Like, it was a match made in heaven. It really was. And I think, like the way I love detail and accessories and colour, and it's so natural to him in his work. Like, there's so, the great thing about What Kind of Shoes Is a Hippopotamus Choose is, like, every time you reread it, you see something new on the pages. And I think as we all know, like, as a parent, once a child loves a book, you read it over and over and over again. And it's great for the parents, because it kind of, you find something new and exciting every time you read it. And so does my daughter as well.
That is, and one of the things we encourage families to do is to take a picture walk through the book before you even read the text. And sometimes you even cover the text if your kid is reading early, and just walk through and look at the pictures and have a conversation. What do you think? What do you think is going on in this? Look at those hippopotamuses with shoes, and what do you think is going on here?
Well, it's not. I mean, it's based. So if you take away the words, which are also, it's a very fun rhyming poem, you can really tell the story just from looking at the pictures, because it's Hippo walking down this amazing village. It's actually a town, a very sort of chic, Parisian inspired town with and there's a butcher, and there's in fact something. There's actually one shop that's inspired by my very first shoe shop, and all sorts of amazing details in each one. And she's organising a party for all her friends to come to, and she's picking all sorts of fun decorations and flowers, and it's a wonderful sort of trip through the street with all her friends, also bringing gifts and fun things to the party which they all end up at her house and celebrate. And what I love about it is it's just not serious. It's just pure fun.
Well, you're surrounded. Through the magic of technology, I am looking into Kat's space. I don't know if this is your home or your office, but it's filled with color and life. You've all sorts of plants around you, and a great illustration or painting over your shoulder. It looks like folks in Africa, and they're wearing.
This is actually like it's actually by a Canadian illustrator, and it's actually very American.
Oh, okay.
All sorts of American fun brands like FedEx and Oreos and all sorts of fun things, and they've dressed the illustrators in cutouts, so it's a really fun piece.
Yeah, it really is fun. Is this? I'm trying to picture a corporate meeting at your brand, and I imagine corporate meetings are kind of boring and quiet, and we got to listen and pay attention. But I have a feeling that yours are a party.
I'm not very good at being corporate. No, corporate. I do try occasionally, but yeah.
So, we've talked here on the show about, encouraging young girls to get into the STEM fields, and we've talked about how difficult it is sometimes for young women to break into different fields and to start their own brand and company. Where did you get the strength and the kind of gumption to say, I'm going to do this?
Well, I actually worked when I launched the brand. I actually I worked a little bit in the fashion industry trying to gain experience, but I really wanted to set up my own brand, but I had no cash. So I went into fashion recruitment, and it was before the recession, and like early 2000s, and I met loads of amazing people there. One being someone that owned a factory in Noida in India. And we built a relationship, and she managed her family in this factory in Noida in India, and she managed to persuade them to make the first samples for me. So I produced these samples, and I had this kind of crazy parallel life where I had this kind of corporate job. But then on my lunch breaks, I take my little collection of shoe samples and race across Soho, where I'd rent a little room the other side of Soho. And I would show my samples to all sorts of big department store buyers, and I'd change my clothes out of my corporate suit and put something fashiony and fun on. And anyway, that was it. Like I built it for 2 years doing that, and eventually it took off, and managed to build it into an international brand. But it was living a double life for a bit. It was quite funny.
Yeah, but it just shows that, it's really important to put that grind in there, that, put the time and to believe in yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's the most important thing, like self-belief, because once that goes, it's too nerve-wracking. So I think believing in yourself, and actually I'm launching a new kids brand inspired by the book now, actually. I've been so inspired by, the sort of the creativity and fun of the kids world, and especially the book that I'm launching. Yeah, so kids, actually it's already a lot. It's www.hippoparade.com. It's a kids apparel brand, and hopefully we're going to build some animation and more stories inspired by the book.
Excellent. That's super exciting. I have to ask, what does your daughter think about the book?
Oh, she is a big fan. She absolutely loves it. Yeah, she does. She's I may have read it to her maybe too many times now, like most nights. And I've had it for a while. Obviously, it was written, as you know, like how it is in publishing. Like it was written a while ago. But no, she's a big fan, and she really enjoys. I think it really sparks some creativity in children, the book, particularly, because there's so many fun characters and details that they can resonate with, and obviously also the color and the energy throughout it. So I think it's really really sparks imagination.
That's awesome. Hey, you mentioned how long it takes to get a book from the time a publisher buys the manuscript until it hits the shelves. Am I correct in thinking that it's quicker for you to get a new style of shoe onto the shelf?
Yes, and you know what? That's what I was like so shocked. I was so shocked because I think with a book it's so much detail and love goes into like every single detail. But I think fashion, even if it's designer fashion, it's fast. Like you're producing collections every few months. And I was so surprised, I'm so used to working at this really fast pace. And so it was kind of nice, almost relaxing to sit back and really consider this creative process, where I think fashion, you're really on you're constantly having to keep up with the fashion calendar and create under a lot of pressure and pace. So yeah, it was almost a bit of a treat, really. Something to get used to, but it was a treat.
Yeah. Hey, your daughter, you mentioned, is 5, and so she's growing up in this world where in not too distant future, she's going to be owning a phone and having all these devices and exposure to social media platforms and whatnot. Number one, are you prepared for that? And as somebody that is in the fashion industry, how are you going to let your daughter know that, hey, all those influencers that you're like really loving and you want to be like, they're not real. There's a lot of work that goes into making them look like that.
I know. If I had my way, she wouldn't have a phone. I hope by the time she's a little bit older, there'll be some sort of laws, particularly in the UK, because people are, there's a lot of talk around it at the moment that, that they should be particularly banned from schools until later on. So I'm really hoping that something like that would happen, because I think, there's also, there's a lot of bullying, and I think, bad for self, I don't want Ruby looking at these women thinking that's how she needs to look or be, because as you say, a lot of work goes into having done, because obviously I did a lot of photo shoots and creative stuff the work that goes into to making those photos look how they look. It's not something that's natural. So yeah, I'm hoping some sort of law will be put in place to prevent that. But I think it's so she was already I overheard her telling her teacher that Taylor Swift wears my shoes, and I was like, oh my goodness, she's only 5. This is not good.
Well, it is a crazy and challenging world for parents today.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
I think it's changed so much even since, I'm 40, but how much it's changed since then. And I think I used to just play with my doll's house and play in my sandpit until I think I was a teenager.
Absolutely. Hey, fashion, obviously by the fact I'm just wearing my T-shirt here, how much does it change from one culture to another, and how quickly does it change? Are we talking a cycle of weeks or months, or?
I think cultural. I think every country loves something a little bit different. So actually, the reason that actually very much inspired the book is that actually I was manufacturing my shoes in Brazil for a long time, and they use color in a completely different way to any other country. The way that they use different colors and patterns in ways that we would never consider normal, but actually the way they do it is amazing. And so I got very inspired by that, and I started using some of those crazy color palettes in my collections, and that's really much like ended up building very much the sort of the real DNA of my brand, this kind of very unique use of color. And I think that's really also inspired the book and really every single creative outlet I have. But yeah, I think every market is slightly different. I think London's a bit boring. Everyone just wants to wear trainers. The US was actually, I think they have they're a bit more like daring and willing to give new brands a go, like smaller brands a go. I felt like, they're much more open to much more open to sort of one like bold fun color, and sorry UK UK just want to go grey. But then other markets like Japan and are very they're very chic and they like everything very restrained, whereas you've got other like Dubai and the Middle East that I sell to, they love like flamboyance and fun and dressing up. So yeah, it's very different. Every country has its own vibe.
Yeah. You used the term, building your brand, a few times in our conversation. So you're obviously aware of your brand. We have a lot of authors and aspiring authors here on the show. And one of the things that I encourage them to think of is that as you're writing your books, you're building your author brand. Can you give any advice to those authors who might be listening as to what kind of things they need to think about as they're building this brand?
Yeah, I mean, I think with any type of brand, you've really got to have something unique about what you offer. So, I think finding out what is unique about what you're writing, what is unique about your brand offering, also building an identity. An identity is really key, making sure that what you're writing is very unique to you and is really identifiable to you. But the other thing is, I think it's really important. I think I was when I started my brand, I was so shy and terrified of being me and talking, and I'd hate to do interviews, and I never want, that it kind of made me feel so nervous. But I think also like the power of you and being brave enough to go out and network and speak to people and have interviews and just be yourself. I think that's really important. I think that's something I regret not doing earlier in my career, in my brand building career. Like, I've only started doing it recently, actually. And, I think it's something I wish I'd done it earlier, because I think that's really important. People want to know, who you are and why you wrote that book and interested in it. So I think that's important to build that level of, that confidence in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this is my podcast. I get to call the rules around here. I have a goddaughter in Australia. She is trying to launch a swimwear brand.
Oh, wow.
What advice would you give? She's 27. She's an incredible, hardworking young woman. What advice could you give my goddaughter?
Has she designed it yet? Is it ready to go?
She's designed a couple of pieces. Yep. And my wife got angry at me because I liked it on social media. And she goes, "I'm not close."
Well, I think before it was very traditional way of launching a brand. You go to stores and you try and get them into stores. But I think obviously the power of social media now, from a brand building perspective, is so powerful and less expensive. With trying to build, it's easier to sort of get your brand out there quicker. So I think, really focus on building, your social media following, making sure your product has a really strong DNA and again, stands out. What are your unique selling points? Really shout about those. And what else? I think making sure that, building a sort of, again, unfortunately, as a big influencer following is super key. So, but if she wants to have I'd love to have a chat with her. I love helping people. So if she'd ever like to drop me a line, I'm more than happy to have a Zoom call with her.
Well, that is very kind of you, and I am sure we will take you up on that. You mentioned that you're in Hippo Parade. You're going to be creating some animations and other books. Are you working on a second children's book?
Not quite yet, but we definitely have ideas for what that would be. Obviously, we're very... Hippo's got this wonderful collection of shoes, but we are pretty sure, I don't want to give it away, but the manta might love bags. So we definitely plan to we're very, very keen to launch a second book. And then, the animation will be really... it'll be sort of fun comedy animation of 6 minutes. We're going to do 52 episodes, and it'll be fun action, but full of fashion and actually we're going to have going to fuse it with sort of planet-friendly habits as well, because I think that's really key in building that early doors and at the beginning.
Yeah. That's wonderful. We should tell everybody where they can go to find out more about what kind of shoes does a hippopotamus choose. I got through it in one breath this time. And also find out more about Hippo Parade and more about you.
Well, you can go to my Instagram page, which is Hippo Parade, and then also Kat Maconi as well, so Kat Maconi Choose, and then there's also www.hippoparade.com, there's a link to Penguin where you can find all our stockists in the US.
Awesome. We've had a really fun time speaking to the author of What Kind of Shoes Does a Hippopotamus Choose? The debut picture book from our guest, Kat Maconi. Hey, Kat, thanks for being on Reading with Your Kids.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
Are you looking for a creative way to bond with your kids? Let me tell you all about Drawing with Your Kids, the ultimate destination for artistic adventures. Join us as we dive into the wonderful world of children's books with renowned illustrators guiding you step by step. From beloved characters to whimsical scenes, unleash your imagination and create cherished memories together. Whether you're a seasoned artist or just picking up a pencil, there's something for everyone at Drawing with Your Kids. Please visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com, and click on the Drawing with Your Kids link at the top of the page and let the creativity flow. Drawing with Your Kids, where every stroke brings stories to life.
Have you outgrown your health insurance plan or just not happy with what you're paying for? The number one reason we all change our health insurance is price. Are you paying too much for your health insurance? Would you like to have better coverage at a better rate or at little or no cost to you? Your life needs are always changing, but have you done anything to improve your health insurance for you and your family? Health insurance laws and coverage are always changing and getting better. It's impossible to do all the research yourself, but now it's all done for you for free. So regardless of your age or medical condition, take a few minutes right now and find out if you can save money or even qualify for zero-cost health insurance in your state. Call now.
Paid for by cheaper health insurance. 800-932-1656. 800-932-1656. 800-932-1656. That's 800-932-1656.
Hey, my friends, would you like to bring a little warmth and magic into your home? Let me introduce you to Welsh Mountain Candles, hand-poured on a working Amish farm in Lancaster County. These all-natural, toxin-free candles are made from palm wax with a stunning crystallized glow, rich coconut apricot wax for a creamy finish, and essential oils for a pure, refreshing scent. Whether you're winding down, setting the mood, or just love a great candle, Welsh Mountain Candles are crafted with care and made to be shared. Visit welshmountaincandles.com. Use the promo code JED10 for 10% off your order today. Light up your home with Welsh Mountain Candles, where every candle tells a story. Join us right now from the beautiful state of Washington. Our guest is here today to celebrate her new picture book. It's called Emily Was So Embarrassed. Please welcome to this show, Michelle Olson. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Thank you. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm not embarrassed at all. It's been a long time since I've been embarrassed about anything. What's embarrassing Emily?
Oh, well, so she loves to dance and she is very good at it, but she is so scared of messing up in front of the other buttons that live in the craft box that she doesn't show anyone that she can dance. She dances privately in her room, everything's good. But one day, her best friend, Becky, invites her, or actually kind of encourages her to sign up for the talent show. And lo and behold, now she's got to dance in front of a whole bunch of other buttons who are going to watch her. And she's very scared. A lot of stage fright going on, and she gets up on stage and she had practiced so much that everything was going perfectly well, and then all of a sudden she gets tangled in her ribbon and splat, she hits the stage. So that is basically all her fears summed up in one moment, and she wants to get up and run off stage because she's just so embarrassed. But she hears her friend Becky start to sing again because they're up there together, and she realizes she needs to stay there for her friend and complete her dance. So she untangles herself and she gets up and she finishes her dance, but then she just runs off the stage, bursts into tears, and starts to pack up her stuff real quick so she can skedaddle out of there before anybody can see, because obviously they're going to laugh at her. She messed up, right? So, she starts to sneak out, but something happens that surprises her, that I'm not gonna give away the ending, but, definitely a surprise ending for Emily.
Yeah. Well, this, reminds me of, a lot of things. My daughter had been a great, we kind of, don't tell anyone, but we kind of fibbed when my daughter was 2.5 and we said she was 4 to get her into dance class. And she did great. I mean,
really?
She was on the 5-year-old team that won the national championship. And we moved from one studio to another when she was, I think, 8 or 9 years old. And sure enough, her first dance recital, she slipped and fell and popped right back up and kept on dancing, which was really great. Yeah. But this situation is something that a lot of kids go through, certainly a lot of girls and boys in terms of dance. But also I think a lot of kids when they're playing any kind of sport.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, this book was actually the whole idea of it was based on my oldest daughter when she was in kindergarten. She was up there doing a little dance during the talent show, and she slipped and she fell, and she, unlike Emily, she hopped up and just went right back to it. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's just kind of so amazing that at that young age, kindergarten and younger, they're kind of oblivious, like, oh, okay, people are watching me, but if I fall down, I hurt myself, whatever, or make a mistake, you just can keep going. It's not a big deal. But then there's kind of this older age that they hit where suddenly they're very self-aware that people are watching them. I mean, when my eldest was doing dance, at the beginning, she was totally fine messing up. It was like, just keep going. But then they hit some stage where they're just like, oh my gosh, I'm being watched and I'm being judged by my peers and I don't want to mess up. This is really nerve-wracking. And so what was once a fun thing is now, oh my gosh, I'm performing. And I think a lot of kids think that their friends are judging them. But in reality, as audience members, and we're sitting there watching other people, we just want them to do good, especially when they're our friends. We don't want to make fun of them and laugh at them. So I think kids kind of need to realize that their friends are there to support them. And sure, there's going to be some snickers from you people in the audience. That always happens. But for the most part, everybody wants you to do good. And if you mess up, keep going. It's okay. It's, not the end of the world.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I don't know if you're aware. I made a living performing educational magic shows for 35 years.
I saw that. Yeah.
Full time. And, I remember a kid, I think it was down in the Philadelphia area, a kid asked me, have you ever made a mistake on stage? Oh. And I said, you didn't catch the ones I made today? Good. 'Cause I've never done a show that was perfect. We're always making mistakes, and you just have to pick yourself up and keep on going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What was it? Your daughter's experience that inspired this book?
Yeah, definitely that. She actually did do ribbon dancing too at some point in one of the talent shows. So even though her situation, she got up and she just kept going, is different than Emily. That definitely was my inspiration for this book, and I dedicated this one to her because she got up and just kept dancing, and it was pretty awesome to see as a parent, just to, yeah, okay, I'm doing a good job. She just got up and kept going there.
And what's really fun is when you get to the point where not only do you make a mistake and you're able to get up and dance, but when you have the confidence afterwards to kind of make fun of yourself.
Oh, yes.
And just say, do you remember that time I did this thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you say that because my daughter, I remember we were on a walk one time and she tripped and she fell just on the sidewalk. And she was embarrassed. And I said, just get up and take a bow. And she did. And it was like, suddenly it was just like this funny thing. It turned into something that, okay, I embarrassed myself, but it turned into a positive thing. She totally did it. So yeah, you never know.
No, you don't, and don't ever know. And but I think if we can give our kids permission to fail, and that's something we talked a lot about here on the podcast, just helping kids understand that failure is just another step towards you achieving your goal.
Right. Yeah. It makes you a more well-rounded person. I mean, failure is inevitable. So
yeah,
they got to deal with it sooner or later. Might as well do it when they're younger. Just let them fail every once in a while. It's okay.
Absolutely. And if you want to become a successful author, whether it's a children's author or an author of adult books, you have to get that thick skin all those rejection notes, all those times you're going to fail when you submit a story.
Yep, exactly. It's a never ending thing. So yeah, I hear you.
When did you know that you wanted to write books for kids?
Well, I knew that I wanted to do something when my kids were really little. My kids are now 15 and 20, so that was quite a long time ago, but we would go to the library and sit there and just peruse through all the picture books. And I always thought, okay, this would be such a fun project. And at that time I was in a totally different job. And, so it really wasn't something I put a lot of time into learning to do. And then my life kind of flip-flopped and I changed careers, and I started working with my husband, and I had more free time to explore what it would take to make a picture book. And I, not being a artist, decided, okay, let's try using photographs, because very few children's books that are fiction have photographs as the illustration. And I came across some of Terry Borders' books, Peanut Butter Cupcake, and oh my gosh, I was just laughing so hard, and I was like, okay, you can do this. This is something that kids will like. So I decided, I'm going to figure out how to use a camera really good and figure out how to do Photoshop. And that's when it all kind of just started coming together for me. My first book that I wrote, called Norman, which is part of the Norman the Button series, was my first attempt at it, and it got really good reviews from Kirkus, and it won a couple of awards, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my calling. I need to do this. So I've just always kept it within the button theme, and it's just been, I have so many ideas, and I've just been able to, I know that I'm going to be busy doing this for quite some time.
Yeah. Was it the availability of buttons that inspired the characters, or did the character come first and then you say, okay, let me find the buttons so we can illustrate?
Right. Well, actually, so with my first book, so Norman, it's a story of him. He starts off as a coat button, and he falls off his coat. And then the whole book is him trying to find a new job, because having a job is very important for him. And that coincided a lot with me leaving my previous job as a researcher and trying to find something else, trying to find my way doing something, which ultimately led to making books. But the idea of a button falling off his coat, I don't even really remember exactly how that image came to me, but it felt so like such a good metaphor for people who have lost their job or need to find their way. A button falling off its coat, had a job, now doesn't have a job. What are you going to do? So that worked so well with that story, and I had so much fun doing that, and I just kept going. And I was actually contacted by the Michigan Button Society, and they wanted to make Norman their junior button. I can't even remember what the title is, but he was like the head of the junior button division of the Button Society. So I did some pictures with them, as if Norman was there at the button show. And so, yeah, it just really grew. It's definitely been a fun thing. So now it's all buttons.
As you're talking about that, I was thinking back when I was a kid, which is almost 100 years ago, buttons were a thing, and they were kind of a big thing. And it sounds like in some people's lives, they still are a big thing.
Still, yeah.
It was a button society.
Right. Yeah. Actually, most states have a button society. Yeah. And they have their meetings and stuff. Yeah.
My goodness. And I guess maybe, if someone's talking on a turn, they say button that, button your lip. And
yep. There are so many puns. Yes.
What do your girls think about being the inspiration for this book?
Well, they're kind of like, by now, this is my fifth book, and they're like, okay, yeah, Mom, you put me in the book again. Okay, I get it. So, but definitely at the beginning, in one of my, it was my third book, Bonnie Blue Button is a Bully, and I actually have a picture of them in the background. So, because everything is realistic, everything is set in my house, I'm setting up little scenes with them. And I have a scene with Norman. He's climbing up into the craft box. And in the background, I have a picture of them when they were little. So now that's always going to be in that book, for them. So I have to make sure now they're older. I got to make sure nothing is embarrassing for them that I put in there. But yeah, I've kind of been sneaking little things, to make sure that I get dedications to them, or, definitely nieces and nephews and stuff, see if I can get them in there, because I have this unique opportunity to actually, include real things that are around me in my home.
Very cool. How long does it take you to set up the pictures that would become the illustrations of your book?
Right.
I imagine it must be very timely.
It can be, yeah. Some of them, definitely with Emily, she was dancing with her ribbon. And so for me to get the different dancing movement of the ribbon, I would have to, spray the ribbon with, that starch, and then let it dry. And then, so there's a lot of, gluing and waiting, set it up, hope it doesn't fall apart. And then if I get a good picture, then I go in and I do my editing and add eyes and eyebrows and stuff. So it can take from start to finish for a scene. It can take several days, depending on whether everything falls apart and I have to start over. But yeah, as I get older doing this, my vision is bad and my fingers are too big. So I'm like going in and trying to do these miniature scenes, and it definitely gets harder. And for some reason I keep going smaller with my buttons. I have a book, Sam's New Sister, and those buttons are like that big. And so, yeah, it's definitely, I make it more difficult for myself, but it can take several days for sure.
Mm-hmm. What's the reaction been to folks? Obviously, this is your, fifth book?
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously people are enjoying it. Do they enjoy the book because of the different type of illustration, do you think?
Well, yeah. So out of the different times that I've read to kids, they're definitely intrigued with this new, they'll sit there and be like, what is going on with this? This is a new thing. And there's a kindergarten class that I like to read to, a certain teacher that I specifically, go and see. And she was my youngest daughter's, kindergarten teacher. And so every time I have a new book, I go and, read it to her class. They're my little, testers. Mm-hmm. So I can make sure that they are understanding the emotions that I'm trying to convey with these facial expressions. And every time they ask me, "Is this real?" And no, it's these are buttons. Those are real. That part is real. But no, they're not alive, and they're not walking around my house. So they really get engaged because of the reality that of the whole book. And also they really seem to enjoy, I like to put in little things in the background, definitely like craft supplies. And I'm like, look, there's glitter and there's glue. I have that at home. So, that becomes engaging for them as well. But, yeah, I think the idea that it seems so real that it must be a nonfiction book, like that seems to always be a conversation that we end up having, is this is a fiction book. And I think right now especially, it's such a good tool to start those conversations with kids about, okay, just because I see a picture and it looks real, that doesn't mean that it's real. Mm-hmm. So, at that young of an age, these kindergartners, they really are like, okay, I got to study these pictures and figure out what is real. Can this really be happening? or is it all just kind of made up? So I think that's part of it, just not seeing something like this out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's always good to be different than, especially when you're trying to sell books or anything. It's great to stand out. And it's wonderful that you're talking about helping kids to be more media literate, because kids are consuming more and more media at younger and younger ages. And as you said, there are AI videos and images that are being created that are fooling an awful lot of people.
Scary.
Yes, it is scary. I think with over 2,200 episodes out in the world, there's enough of my voice that someone could probably clone it and create another 2,200 episodes without much trouble.
Right.
We should tell everybody where they can go to find out more about Emily Was So Embarrassed and find out more about all the other great books coming from your imagination.
Yeah. So just go to www.bellybuttonbooks.com. It's Belly spelled Bellie, not the Y. So yeah, bellybuttonbooks.com. And I'm on Instagram at Norman_the_button.
Awesome. We've had a great time speaking to the author of Emily Was So Embarrassed. Our guest has been Michelle Olson. Hey, Michelle, thanks so much for being on Reading with Your Kids.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on this episode of Reading with Your Kids. Do you want more great content? Head on over to readingwithyourkids.com. There you'll find amazing book reviews, author interviews, our certified Great Read Wall of Fame, and so much more. And if you are an author, absolutely head on over to readingwithyourkids.com. Click on the Authors Click Here button up at the top of the page. That's the best way to find out how you can be a guest here on the show and tell thousands of Kidlit fans all over the world about your fantastic children's book. Hey, if you love this episode, please share it with somebody you care about. Leave a 5-star review, and please be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you find your favorite shows. I want to thank today's guest, Kat Maconi. Please be sure to check out What Kind of Shoes Does a Hippopotamus Choose? Also check out her new Hippo Parade line of fashion. Also want to thank Michelle Olson. Please be sure to check out Emily Was So Embarrassed. I want to thank my incredible team, Fatima Khan, Chris Doherty, El Glassman, Dante Greco. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. Most of all, we want to thank you. You are the real heroes, because every time you read with your kids, you're spreading love, learning, and kindness all over the world. I'll be looking for you in the next episode of Reading with Your Kids.
Shoes, took a stroll in the park. Sunshine was shining, but it missed its mark. Thought I'd chase the clouds and have some fun, but the skies opened up, and here comes the run. Water splashing all around my feet. I'm twirling and laughing, it feels so sweet. Umbrella flipped, but I don't really care. With every drop, I'm soaring through the air. I went for a walk and got caught in the rain, but my heart's like a drum, I'm not feeling the pain. Grateful for my life, for every little thing. Rain ain't gonna dampen the joy that I bring. Let's dance in the rain, let the worries wash away. Life's a big party and today is the day. Life's a big party and today is the day. Puddle so big, they're calling my name. Jumping right in, oh what a game. Splashing with friends, we're soaked to the bone. But laughter and smiles, this joy we own. We're singing out loud like no one's around. With the rhythm of the raindrops, let's make this a sound. Nothing can stop spin under cloudy skies. With every flicker of light, we'll